Hey everyone, welcome in. Betsperts Golf here for our first look at the first leg of the playoffs. FedEx St. Jude TBC South win. Ryan Noonan here alone this morning. Ron a little bit under the weather, still doing his writing. So the preview for this event should be up on the site very soon. Going to walk through a little bit of what to expect here for Southwind. Kudos to Cam Young backers. I hope that it was a pretty big number. He's been playing really good golf. Feels like he's in really good position for Bethpage for the Ryder Cup. If you're a Cam Young backer, if you've been like a historic Cam Young backer, I hope this got you square at least. Obviously, he's been the 2022 Rookie of the Year, like numerous runners, a 7 runner-up finishes in the last handful of years. And a lot of people have gone to the well often on Cam Young over the last handful of years. Hopefully, yesterday got you whole on that. Hopefully you didn't miss out on Cam Young if that's been a bell you've rung a lot. Wasn't necessarily someone that I would think would be a great fit for Sedgefield, but went to school in Carolina. Obviously, if you watched, you heard all those things yesterday. So kudos to Cam Young, runaway. Didn't have it, but I was really, even though I had Koiven and Echeverria right in the mix, like it would have been such a heartbreaker for him to kind of punt that one away. So I really almost was rooting for him to not fold, because that would be, be tough to watch. It's maybe a little bit much, but let's jump into what we got this week here. I'm going to throw this up on the screen and get my face out of the way. I'll get my face in the corner for you. All right. TBC Southwind, FedEx St. Jude, 69 player field. Rory McIlroy not participating, which is totally fine. I tweeted something out from our Betsperts Golf account over the weekend when the field was announced. And again, not a knock on Rory. He has earned it. There's really nothing for him to earn by coming here. He's come here in the past, just in terms of where he's at. The buy discussion, theoretically, yes, yeah, he's earned it. My point was that if you have a playoffs without a bye system, because this isn't the NFL, this isn't any other sport you want to make a comp to that has a playoffs where there's bye weeks. This isn't this. They don't have a bye week. But again, there's no penalty. So again, not a knock on Rory. My bigger point was just the system is broken. You want us to pretend that this means more. It's a small field, no cut event, and one of your best players opted out. So again, I think that that's a broken system. Fixing the playoffs would be fantastic. I know that's an often discussed topic. Would love you to jump in the chat. Let me know what your solve is for this. I think moving the Tour Championship to something different than the starting strokes situation that they did as a start. Just having it mean nothing for, say, like Scotty Scheffler to have an advantage over anyone else. Like he should probably have something. Again, they've paid out differently, so like he's still rewarded for some of those the great performance over the course of the season. I don't know. Match play should be involved in some form. I also do understand that you were watching match play in the past when we used to have it kind of, in the early part of the season, in March. It was a tough watch, late, right? When it gets down to just one event, one head-to-head, it's not a great TV product. And I do understand that the tour is entertainment product, and they are in charge of making sure that they're putting something good on TV as well. So whether it's some sort of match play that gets you to a 4-man, 8-man, 12-man stroke play events where you can, have, multiple options to show things on TV better than if you're just to have a single head-to-head option. I get it. So some sort of match play would be fantastic, but we'll see. It's a start. Either way, first leg of the playoffs, fun course in Memphis, TBC Southwind. And you can see this tournament has been called many things over the years. In terms of, looking at historical data, we have a bunch. Is a longer par 70 track, almost 7,300 from the tips, but is a par 70. There's a lot of hidden length in here too. So it does play on the longer side. Again, warm in Memphis this time of year. We remember the Lucas Glover swamp ass situation, which is tough to watch for Lucas Glover when he went back to back, and Cam Young go back to back. We'll see he'll have a shot here this week for sure. So a lot of bunkering, a lot of water all over the place. So that is definitely something that we need to be looking at in terms of, off the tee penalty, miss fairway penalty, rough penalty, all those different things. Unique zoysia grass fairways. We don't have this very often, but we do here. And, this little spongy. Ball sits up a little bit more consistently. I think the players really like it. I think it's easier for the grounds crew to maintain. Pulling some, zoysia fairway data is interesting. We can look at that. We don't have, again, not a huge sample. Bermuda rough, Bermuda greens, small greens, 4,500 square foot greens. Those are tiny. We're seeing increased driver usage off the tee. See driver heavy, and we'll show some of that data here specifically. Pretty average to gain off the tee, pretty narrow fairways. It's also interesting that we have increase in driver usage, difficult to hit fairways with a rough penalty being high, kind of a unique blend. So we'll take a look at that. You can see some of the scrambling around the green stuff is easier. Some putting stuff is easier. Part of that is just the length of the putts. Again, we're not going to have a lot of, lag putting because these are smaller greens. So that, has an impact there. See 3-putt avoidance easy. Again, just, 4,500 square foot greens. You're not going to get a lot of that. Decent comp course week. Sawgrass, PGA National, Innisbrook, East Lake. Those are all courses that do have a decent amount of water in play. Same thing with Country Club of Jackson. Not getting a lot of the top guys going there. Concession, we don't see much anymore. Sea Island Plantation course and Walleye, smaller, shorter positional courses. That make a lot of sense. You can see in terms of how the holes have played, not a lot of big numbers, pretty flat. It's kind of a difficult stretch there at 17 to 18 coming home. Not a lot of birdies down the stretch there. But pretty flat, scoreable if you're playing well. But there's some, obviously some difficult to navigate as well. We're going to jump down here real quick and look at previous leaderboards. So last year we saw Hideki win at 17 under, cruised a little bit on Sunday, holding on after a fantastic start to the tournament. You can see guys right behind here: Xander, Hovland, Scotty, Nick Dunlap. Really good golf for Nick Dunlap. He'll be back hopefully at some point. At least for now. He's got the super hot girlfriend, and hopefully she allows him to get to the range and practice a little bit. Sammy Burns, Bobby Mack, Wyndham Clark, Denny, Seamus Power down here at the end. From a strokes gain standpoint, see how they got it done. You can see Hideki usually really good around the green. Didn't really matter for him. If we look at from an average standpoint, pretty poor, to be honest. But didn't matter. He was putting well and ball striking well. This is really just, it comes down to I think, ball striking. You see all the guys here in the top, really, other than Sam Burns, who got it done with the flat stick. The ball striking needed to be, 1.5, 2 shots above the field. Again, when you have these smaller greens, premium put on accuracy off the tee, that's going to matter quite a bit. So you can see pretty much anyone here. Denny, this makes sense when Denny can pop. Sometimes it's often the putter. You can see, almost 2 shots around on the green, similar to Sam Burns, even though Denny didn't get done with the ball striking. But more predictable is honing in on really good ball striking stuff. So interesting to go down here a little bit. Zal's gone. We know Zal won here. This is where he broke through in the playoff against Sepp a couple years ago, back in 2022. Akshay, Big Tone, Aaron Arai. Interesting previous leaderboard here for sure. We'll jump into, if you want to look here at the tournament cheat sheet. I'm going to go back to some key stats here in a minute, though. Just, again, another metric you have here, tool section tournament cheat sheet here for you on Betsperts Golf. You can get a just kind of rolling look at metrics, who's been doing what. You can mess around with the timeframes here, but just obviously we know Scotty is at the top here, separating from his peers. If you want to look a little bit more at recent finishes, again, we haven't seen most of the top guys since the Open Championship. So a little bit of a break for a lot of the top guys. You saw some pop back last week. You can see here Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Spieth, Keegan were in the field last week. But again, a lot of these top guys have not been playing much as of late. And then you can roll over to, and you want to see some Southwind history. We have that for you as well. So you can see Scotty's been coming here, get a miscut here in 2022, which is interesting. But again, this is our third year of this being a small field, no cut event. So again, no cut, 69 guys in the field this week. Tommy's played decently here in the past. This feels like a pretty good Russell Henley course. Justin Thomas as well. When he's got it going, again, off the tee makes me a little bit nervous, but again, he's a past winner here. I would have thought that there would be better course history here for Corey Connors, but that is not necessarily the case. We'll see how he's playing. If that, wrist is a little bit better, buying himself some time since dealing with that from Oakmont. Let's see, we don't have. I'll look at, our winners last year and go from there. Hideki had some decent history here and played well at calm courses. Victor Hovland trending well here as well. I think he'll be a pretty popular click this week. Again, ball striking is the answer to the test. I think that obviously puts Victor on a lot of radars, especially when you have around the green being easier to navigate. And we saw Hideki blue strokes around the green last year and win. Scotty Burns, decent history. Burns top 2, top 5. Bobby Mack playing better golf, just kind of consistently really good golf. Wyndham, we saw how Denny got it done. Cantley's played well here. We're also going to Caves Valley next week for the BMW, which is where Cantley got his last tour wins. Be interesting to see how often he's collecting the next couple of weeks, as he's obviously trying to secure a spot there on the Ryder Cup team. Let's see, Big Tones come here every year. Some middling performances here. Fitzpatrick's played really well here for the most part, and is playing some pretty good golf. A nice little finish in the weekend after a slow start at Sedgefield. Tommy, again, feels like a good Tommy course. Does Tommy answer the call after Cam Young answers the call? That'd be wild. People want to go and chase the dragon there this week. I would understand it a little bit. Maybe the rest and time off got him clear of Hartford, and he's not thinking about that anymore as we turn the page to, Ryder Cup coming up, Tour Championship coming up. We'll see. Henley, I would think this would be a good Henley course, not something he's played every year. T6 and then T30 last year. So nothing that's jumping out a ton. See if they get, I know Ron had a nice tweet with some course history. We can look that up in the rabbit hole as well if you wanted. It's available for you. See Glover didn't make it last year, but has played well here in the past. Again, just shows premium, keeping the ball in play off the tee, good ball striking. You're gonna have some success here. I want to go back to the key stats here and show you guys some stuff. So off the tee here, this is kind of some of the trending stuff that we're looking at. You can see as the field strength has increased and got better, as we've turned this into a playoff event, small field, no cut. Obviously, the quality of the event, and again, the historic data here is pretty vast because, again, this wasn't always in the spot or specifically, no cut playoff event. I think the field strength is kind of starting to dictate some different numbers in the way these guys are approaching the shot. You could see a uptick, like just trending year over year, more driver usage, right? So 81.5 driver usage last year, 81.5%. That is significantly above PGA Tour average and trending again above the 5-year average for this course. You can see drives that went 320 plus, just tripled last year, which is, I think, substantial and noteworthy. Again, as the quality of the field is improving, guys are finding new opportunities to cut off dog legs, navigate some stuff differently there. I think that's trending. And again, driving accuracy below tour average and trending down because guys are being a little bit more aggressive off the tee. Seen that dip with the good drive percentage, which I think matters this week as well. These Bermuda, Zoysia fairways, Bermuda rough still, and we know Bermuda rough can be pretty tricky. It's tricky last week, Sedgefield. You can get more flyers, unpredictable lies. So, even though you're seeing this increase of guys hitting at 320 plus off the tee, you're still going to have the Lucas Glovers that keep the ball in play off the tee that can have a lot of success here. from an approach standpoint, you could see, again, small greens. So greens and reg a little bit below tour average, even though the field has improved and it dipped last year. Again, I think that's correlated to more driver usage. So that makes sense as well. The greens and reg from the fairway, pretty standard tour average, but this is where you see the challenge here. Greens and reg from the rough, below tour average because of the unpredictable nature of the Bermuda rough and the angles that can be in play when you're in the rough there as well. Only 2 par fives. You got to take advantage of them. You see the going for the green rate substantial. So guys are, these are pretty much in play for most of the fields. The hit rate there is pretty low, below tour average. But when you go for it, you are often rewarded. You see a birdie or better rate when guys go for the green at a tick higher, about 6% above tour average here last year. So definitely interesting. So again, proximity getting better as well, better than tour average, because again, the strength of the field, right? So you can see this down here in 2022. It was not a small field signature event with no cut. So I think that makes it a pretty big difference. Pretty flat from a approach shot distribution standpoint. You can see we're actually a little bit, again, with the increased driver usage, approach shots are coming from a little bit closer, but nothing that's really substantial. A lot, I think, from, you see here, 125 to 150, about 5% above tour average. Again, your wedges are kind of increasing too. Again, all this makes sense. It's all correlated. Increased driver usage. Guys are playing their second closer to the hole. We've seen that that 50 to 125 tick up as we have with the 125 to 150. Still have a decent amount in the 150 to 175 range and the 175 to 200, though maybe a tick below tour average and trending down. And that's kind of the increase as we go completely down the board. So nothing there. I think there are better ways to look at approach than anything from a specific proximity bucket. This is my point. Often my point. I don't love honing in on modeling approach shot distribution ranges because when you're putting it into the model here and making mixed condition models that way, you're painting it with a broad brush across all golfers. And we know that's not the case. We know that Russell Henley is playing from different spots than Scotty and Xander. We know that Lucas Glover is. So when you start to weigh those things equally across all golfers, you're really kind of getting, again, to each their own. This is why we have this available. You can do whatever you want. I just think you're kind of getting a noisy sample. It's not necessarily a great way to go about it. You can look at approach shots on spots with small greens, difficult, good drive percentage, because again, that's going to matter here. That's below tour average. There's other ways to look at approach without doing it through the approach shot distribution. Around the green, I'm not going to look at it too much. It doesn't particularly matter for me. Again, even though these are small greens and green in regulations a little bit lower, it's just pretty easy to navigate. So I don't really want to, give that too much weight when I'm messing around with modeling. You can see scrambling above average. Again, these small greens, the putts, even when you miss the green, you should be able to get yourself in a good situation where you can scramble and get it done. You can mess around with putting ranges. Again, 3-putt avoidance significantly below tour average because of these really small greens. So nothing from a putting standpoint. So really just want to show you some of the off the tee stuff that's trending here. That's been pretty different over the last couple of years. Odds, shop around. It's Monday morning, as you know. Scotty Scheffler's in the field. Most books at this point are helping us in providing without Scheffler markets or without the big guns, which is the case here. FanDuel is doing the same. They have not allowed us to get into it yet. You can see here if we scroll down. Clicked on something that without Scheffler, not posted yet. Without Scheffler, JT, Tommy, that is not posted yet. But we go back up to the top. Scotty is in the fields, just shy of 3-1. Xander second on the odds board, almost in his own tier at 16. Jump down to JT, 22. Tommy 25. Ludwig at 28. Hovland 30. Henley 30. Morikawa 30. Okay. I'm going to be probably swimming in the without Scotty markets, just to be honest. Like, I know he doesn't have electric course history here, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. He finished T4 here last year. There's no oh, this is a bad course fit for Scheffler. Like that's, I don't even know, but you should know that that's not a thing, right? Okay. And again, I understand if you want to take it on and be like, hey, he's not going to win every golf tournament. I don't care. I'm going to take on the bigger price. Yeah, I get it. Like, fine. He's not going to win every golf tournament. Probably doesn't win this golf tournament. There's, again, 68 other golfers in the field. It's just how math works. But I promise you, if you haven't messed around without Scotty Markets, to still have a sweat when he's doing his thing, this feels pretty good. Like you still have something on the odds screen to watch and get down on. So Cam Young, again, see if we can go back-to-back 35. Yeah, 35. Again, good shop around. I just had the FanDuel up because I know sometimes they're pretty quick without markets this morning. So that's why I brought this one to you. Hideki, if he wants to go back-to-back, is 45. Again, Sepp's played well here in the past as well. He's out to 40. Goddard playing pretty good golf at 50. Harry Hall, 50. Spawn, 50. Bobby Mack, 50. So again, they've kind of jumped, like bunch these guys up together. We'll see what action they're taking and see if there's any shifting. And again, shopping around, I have not made any clicks this morning. I don't know that these are the best numbers, but these are what I had up for you this morning. And again, small field, but you're going to get some guys way down here. Other books, if you have availability to mess around with each ways, I would definitely do that if you're looking to shop deep down the board, or top fives, top tens if you're looking to do that as well. But again, Glover was a pretty big number when he won here in the past, so don't hate it. I want to show you a couple things before we wrap here on the rabbit hole. We've made additions. We will continue to make additions, add new things, new looks. Just what we're doing. It's going to continue to happen. Actually, let me show you what we did for Sedgefield. That's going to be a part of every course stats page moving forward. You might not have seen it last week, and we're going to work to get them up quick. You'll probably see these in Ron's preview. Our guy PJ Splits 101, he'll tweet them out as well. But some of these course metrics in a relative to tour average display. So you'll start to see this in everything moving forward. So this is nice to kind of, again, it pulls some of the data that we have up here. So some of it is redundant. But again, to get one look and see where it's trending from a course level. Again, where you can see that here, again, 5-year course average versus PGA Tour average. Some of that's just pulled down here. And there's some unique data that's not actually in the drop downs up top, just to see where it is relative to a tour average event as well. So that'll all be in here. You can click into show more. There's more in here as well. So again, one simple, clean look for you to have all this in one shot. This will be added to the course stats pages moving forward. So pretty excited to have that for you guys. All right. I'm absolutely loving this new rolling averages look. So I want to show you that. If you haven't seen this, these little things are here now too, where you can hide the salary from a DFS standpoint. If you're just using it for betting and you don't want to see DraftKings salaries or anything like that, you can go hide that. Makes the screen a little bit bigger for you. Tee times, we'll have this up when the tee times are posted, loaded in the back end, usually on a Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Those will be in here for you as well. If you are playing DFS, you're looking at Showdown, you're looking at first round leader stuff, you'll be able to go and search here from a tee time standpoint. In terms of grabbing data from a timeline standpoint, we obviously have the time frame up here. We have this little bar here where you can mess around with specific rounds, or we have this for you as well if you want to look at specific little boxes of looking at time frames and you want to kind of customize it. You could do that as well. So really cool. Love that. Like for last week, Sedgefield played a week earlier because last year we had in last week's spot was the Olympics. So technically this week on the calendar last year was Sedgefield. So if you were looking at rolling 12 months for last week, you wouldn't have got the previous year's Sedgefield data in that data set because it was the following week. It was this week that we're in now. So yeah, that's a big one. I like that one quite a bit. But here we are. Again, the view section, so many things that we can have here. Obviously, a lot of these have been here. You now can model floor ceiling. So this is something that I was reluctant to add in here because I thought it could throw off some stuff, but people want it, and like to each their own. If you want to just kind of see, I only want to put in, or I want to like really give weights to guys that have gained at least 2 shots ball striking over the last 6 months. Like that's a big weight for me. You can go ahead and now add it to your custom model. So that's a new addition that was not in here in the past. You'll be able to do that now. Finishing positions are here as well. That's not something to model yet, but we can get there. Rolling averages. This I think is absolutely sick. It is a great one-shot version to see how someone's trending, and especially when you start to look at like some specific stats that are kind of unique too, right? Some of the other metrics that we have that are unique. This is just looking at strokes gained total, and you could do this with any condition as well. Obviously, you could see here, last time Cam Young played, which was this past weekend, he played pretty well. So last 4, he's going to look good. Scotty, last time he played, he looked pretty good too. He won the Open Championship. So that's where you're going to get some of this. But this is not the use for it, in my opinion, is some of these basic strokes gain metrics. It's good. It's good to see just in general. Like, again, you can get some of this trending stuff on player pages, but like if you get down into some of the, unique things, like we're talking about, especially when we get into like early season stuff, and it's like, hey, is so-and-so, they had some speed, they had some distance. You're going to be able to look at that now. And I think like this is just a great way to get a visualization of how someone's trending. Let's see some stuff here. Hovland, maybe some tinkering here with, his average driving distance, and maybe we're back up to where we need to be. Some stuff that's a little bit smaller. Here's, Tommy a little bit below average, but, last 4, that, doesn't matter too much. But the longer stuff, we get to like some pockets that I'll show you that makes a little bit more sense. You're like, okay, this is, Mav McNeely. He's up. When you look over his last, 12 rounds, he's up, 2 miles per hour or 2 yards on driving distance. Maybe even better to look at actual ball speed or club head speed to see where guys have really added some speed. Here's your Ben Griffin stuff, right? Ben Griffin over the last 200 rounds played is, about 175 ball speed. This year he's up to, 179.5, right? So like this is a simple visual representation of that trend. Matthew Fitzpatrick, we know back in the day, pretty slow, pretty short off the tee. And then, this has been a trend for him over the last couple of years, and you can see that through the data. So this will allow us to see some of that stuff a little bit quicker. Again, there are so many use cases for it. And again, you can look at it through any conditional lens as well, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. So again, we are going to continue to add new conditions, new features, new metrics, new views. You can also salary. This has been added to. If you are a DraftKings Showdown player, we used to just have DraftKings and FanDuel, but now we will have Showdown's salaries for you as well. So again, we're not resting on the laurels. Going to continue to add it. We want to make this the best tool and resource for you. So you don't have to jump to any other site or any other data. You can start to look at it specifically through appropriate conditions and filters, just versus looking at free rolling strokes gain data that you can find on PGAtour.com. This is all the PGAtour.com data, just with the ability to look at it through specific tests that are coming up for the field this week, which I think is, again, the best way to do it. So again, lots of ways to play around with this, just see putting trends, ball striking trends, all these things, right? One stop, you can see who's playing better golf. Cam Young, over the last 75 rounds, ball striking has not been great, but he is trending well, right? Real short term, but trending well. So this is all very easy for you to see in one view. So really stoked for that, and I think it's a great place to do some research each week. So appreciate you hanging out this morning with just me. Again, come back tomorrow. Andy and I will be here. We'll talk about some of our bets, go into a little bit more details. Ron's preview, check that out on the site. Start to model around, look for some of those without markets this week. I highly recommend that. Again, to each their own. Again, subscribe before you take off. Betsperts Golf on the YouTube channel. Betsperts Golf, wherever you listen.